In the 60s and in the 50s, every boy knew two things. You could ask any young boy, and he knew who won the World Series last year, and he knew who the heavyweight champion of the world was. Boxing was in its prime.
Lewiston, Maine adopts the heavyweight championship fight. It's bigger than bingo in Lewiston, and the crowds of the curious gather early outside St. Dominic's Arena's site of the fight.
You know, this fight took place in May of 1965. This was just right in the middle of the civil rights movement and the marches, and Muhammad Ali had announced that he was changing his name. He had joined the Black Muslim sect, which added to the anti-Ali feeling. In fact, a good number of the American press refused to refer to him as Muhammad Ali. I mean, here's a guy who changed his name legally. He wanted to be called Muhammad Ali. He clearly, you know, was entitled to have that happen, and yet he wasn't. The fight in Lewiston, Maine was billed as the Clay-Liston fight. People didn't believe the first fight. You know, Liston was considered invincible, big, bad Sonny Liston. When you looked at the first fight, Ali just creamed Liston. There were a lot of people that thought Liston didn't train. There were a lot of people that had a bunch of excuses, and most people, boxing fans, couldn't wait for the rematch.
The challenger, who claims to be 31, is the first to enter the ring. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, 23, champion, never defeated as an amateur or as a pro.
In 1965, most sports fans, in particular, just didn't understand Muhammad Ali, and how could they? There had never been anyone like him. Athletes are supposed to be modest.
15 rounds or less, the world heavyweight title, the big fight, the big night, round number one. We're waiting for that bell for round one. Here we go. You'll note that Cassius wants to stay out in the center of the ring where he happens to be the king.
Muhammad threw, I don't know, maybe 4 punches at most in the whole fight, and one of them was this punch which an awful lot of people still refer to as the Phantom Punch.
A right hand shot on the chin.
And Ali won the rematch again, this time by knocking out Sonny Liston in 2 minutes of the first round. I probably spent the 2 days or 3 days before the fight battling electricians for current. You know, we used to strobe light these arenas so that basically it was like shooting in a studio if you were shooting a fashion shoot, which is why the quality of the picture is so good. When you had a fight in those days, it was primarily there were men in the audience and a lot of cigar smokers. Well, the main event, the championship fight, wouldn't take place until 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock. By that time, there was this fog. Now, believe it or not, the strobe lights shooting through that put this little blue cast in the background, and it made it just a bit more dramatic. I had no idea I had taken this picture. I had no idea that he had done that, put his arm across his chest. I didn't know he was shouting down at him. I certainly didn't hear a word. It's hard to believe how quickly that moment happened. In fact, my photograph is without question the only color photograph of this moment. When I flew back to New York the next day with the film, I picked up the newspapers, and there was my picture taken 2 seats to my left, a photographer named Rooney. He got exactly this picture now, but he got it natural light. I mean, everyone ran Rooney's picture. It was taken for Associated Press. I was on assignment for Sports Illustrated, so my photograph didn't run anywhere else. It didn't run on the cover of the magazine. It was page 4 in a 4-page color portfolio from the fight. A couple of people came by and told me, nice picture, Neil, and it was never considered anything special. I think this picture became the iconic image that people consider it today to be because Muhammad Ali became the iconic sports legend that he's become. As Ali's legend grew and as Ali got older, and people wanted to remember him at his absolute best, and he knocked out big bad Sonny Liston in 1 round. And I think people want to remember him that way.